everybody. Welcome back to TARTLEcast.
Yes.
Yeah, many years in the making, still going.
Still going, and we'll continue to go.
Yep.
We'll be all like, I'll be 90 and you'll be 70.
Decrepit.
Yeah. Welcome to TCast. So I want to get into, because we just did an episode on why work with Tartle.
Mm-hmm.
And we encourage you, if it's something that after we encourage you to watch the video first, if that's something you're interested in, jobs@tartle.co, you can apply. But I want to get into the philosophy at Tartle. And I want to start with the premise of all of Tartle and your, as a CEO, your vision of a data philosophy.
Yeah.
Because I think this will correlate to our employees.
So when I looked at data
Mm-hmm.
in the earliest days, it was just sort of something that was just generating itself, whether it was some third party observing or some sort of system just keeping a log, which is all well and good. But a lot of it lacked an idea of where these things actually came from. It lacked insight, the data did, into why the data even existed at all.
Yes.
And so I said, well, the data packet at Tartle, that fundamentally has to change, because data completely missed the human element altogether. Since the earliest parts of the tech boom, right? Where was the human element? Where was the why? For what? Why is this thing even being recorded? Why the interaction? And we walk around and we leave footprints in the snow or in the dirt and all these other things. And someone can look at that and know that we walked in that direction, or somebody did walk there without even knowing who they are.
Right.
But do they know why they chose to walk that way? Like, if somebody goes to a crime scene, all you can do is try and guess what occurred.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been pretty good at it. But it's really the why, the meat of the understanding of what data is. So the philosophy had to occur that data missed the human element. And the human element added to the data meant that it has to go back to the first party. The first party has to really take control over their own thoughts and actions. They have to take ownership over this log that is being created of themselves. Because if they do that, it affords real understanding to what the story of that data is. Each one of us has our own individual story. And the way I see it into the future is that as our programming becomes more advanced, our ability to analyze algorithms, everybody has the unique aspect of being an outlier. Yes, statistically, in a sense, we all are human beings. We have standard deviations. We know how tall we are, eye color, all those other things. Doesn't matter. But what is completely different, which makes us all inherently unique, is our personalities and the way we think.
It's even more than the personalities. The work that you do is so uniquely yours.
Correct.
It's like the other day, this is quick fun fact, just to kind of be fun with this. There's a part of your body that has an indefinite, a lot of people think it's just your fingerprint. You know, like you can do the fingerprint, but there's another part of your body that is uniquely yours and just yours, and no one else has it.
Is it my tongue?
Yes, your tongue. Yeah,
I'm thinking about like all the things on my tongue. Yeah.
Yeah. So, they could take a print of your tongue and it would be so unique and different. And the work that people do, whether you want to be an employee of Tartle, whether you are an employee of Tartle, the work that people do is so uniquely and distinctly theirs. Mm-hmm. Now we're doing it online, which is creating data, and that is our work. But what Tartle's philosophy is the data transparency and ownership.
Yeah. Well, because this is my point. The old logs of data were not transparent. Nobody knows where they started. They were flying around everywhere. Mm-hmm. No one had any clarity onto why it existed. The transparency has to be there. But that can't happen unless somebody takes ownership of it first.
Yes.
And if we can engineer a technology to essentially create a fabric or a timeline of ownership, it helps solve what was missing. It's not that there was anything inherently wrong with data. It was just missing its other half. It's like a good relationship, right? Where's the balance? Where's the equilibrium? The human element ceased to exist. In transparency and ownership,
right,
that sovereignty, that right over that thing that's being created, now that that's here, data has become this this fingerprint of you, this identity of who you are, this timeline of your work that is uniquely your own, that you deserve to have the right towards. If you
that you deserve to have the right towards, because that's the work that you're putting in.
You put in that work. No one else did.
Yeah, and I think that's what I love. The word transparency to me is like we show the smoke and mirrors of data. And I've shared with you that before, and you can speak to this, but the Wizard of Oz is so great analogy of this.
Behind a curtain, he pokes his head out and stuff.
Yeah. It's this big wizard and like this big, huge thing. And everybody thinks it's like such a big monster of a thing. And like, oh my God, it's almost godlike.
It's a big screen.
You know, and that's what they're saying. We have godlike technology. But really, it's smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
And you pull back the curtain, there's this little tiny wizard guy, like just, and you.
There's an algorithm
that
only says, if this, then that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in its absolute pure simplicity, that's all it is.
But I think we're pulling back the curtain of data and showing those fake wizards that are out there.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful revolution to be a part of. Mm-hmm. So when you're coming to work from Tartle, you're doing something that is so uniquely different. One, you're being respected as a human, as an individual. Two, you're putting in work, creativity. And we talked about this in the last episode, and that's something that you can leave for a lifetime, past your lifetime. And then on top of it, it's this new, like we talk about Web 3.0 and all these buzzwords that venture capitalists like using and startups are using, but it's way beyond that. It's not a buzzword. It's the metaverse and meta and all this stuff that's going on right now, and that everybody wants to be a part of, because they're saying this is the future. This is where technology is going. We're like, whoa. You're riding this monster horse. There has, but that horse has a human on it and it has reins.
Yeah.
And first of all, what journey are you going with the horse? We need to define that.
What's the end goal?
Yeah. Not just trying to just rein it back all the time and take control of it, because you ride horses, this, and many people out there have been on a horse all around the globe. So I think this is a great analogy. What happens if you're fearful and you overuse the reins and you're just, the horse can feel all that control that you're trying to give it instead of flowing with it.
There's sensitivity in the mouth. The mouth is a very sensitive area for human beings. So if you're fearful, they feel the extra stress on the mouth.
Right.
And then your legs, the inside of your quads, will squeeze harder around its torso.
Yes.
What happens when something feels constricted? What you feel will directly translate through the reins and through your legs into the horse.
Well, there's a Japanese word, and I'm probably saying it wrong. It's Jinba Ittai. And it means horse and rider as one.
Yeah.
Because they were archers. So you had to use, like you're saying, you had to use your legs. So you had to be one with that horse, understand exactly. And that horse had to know, the horse could sense every part of you and transmute that. I mean, horses are great with that. Mm-hmm. That's why we've used them for centuries. But that horse and rider is one. So when we look at data transparency, when we look at data ownership, the rider respects the horse as much as the horse respects the rider.
Right. There has to be that balance.
Yes, there has to be that balance. And that's what we're trying to create.
Yeah. And if you look at all these I can tell you with 100% certainty what Tartle's end goal is. That is to elevate human understanding through data.
Yes.
That's it. We know exactly what our end goal is. What is Instagram's end goal?
User engagement, user acquisition, blah, 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 blah.
Okay, so nothing meaningful. What's Facebook's end goal? Online experience?
Yeah.
What does that do for anybody?
To have time on site more.
What's Goldman Sachs' end goal? Adobe. Google. What's your end goal? I don't know. It's not clear. None of it's clear.
But I mean, I think this pulls back the curtain, but behind that curtain, there's a door. And in that door, there's a hinge on every doors. And those hinges, to me, that allows access to open the door is free will. And I don't want to get too philosophical, but
I do.
We at Tartle want to offer choice.
Yeah.
And when we allow people, I'm going to use this word specifically on what you talked about, we allow people to exercise choice.
Yeah. We show you the path to the door, and you can choose whether or not you want to turn the knob and walk through it.
Yes.
We engineered the hinges. We engineered the door. We gave you a roadmap. Are you going to take the journey? It's as
Right.
simple as that.
Yeah, and I think to our final point on this, in understanding the philosophy of Tartle and why if you feel like this aligns with you and what we're saying, that you could work at Tartle, maybe you could explain it to them, for them as an individual. You could explain them being a Sherpa and what that means. And maybe people don't even know what the word Sherpa means.
I will. For the people that have already been a part of Tartle, millions of human beings that use it, they decided to take a risk. I'm going to adopt a system early. I'm going to carve out a path. I'm going to walk through that door. I'm going to make this choice for myself. But I'm going to understand that journey. And they went out as Sherpas and they shared what that path looked like to the top of the mountain. What's the end goal? And every time there was a success for that data champion, that initial one, they were able to share that and then be the Sherpa for those other individuals to start their own journey, to become their own champions. The Sherpa is not the one that takes the limelight, but they're the ones that always did the heavy lifting. But they're only there strictly to support and keep safe that person on their journey.
If somebody wanted to see what a Sherpa was, or, maybe they don't understand that word, what is a Sherpa, and how does a Sherpa help so we can understand this as an employee of Tartle?
A Sherpa is a form of Himalayan mountain guide. They understand the mountain. They understand the path.
They're an expert on the mountain.
They're an expert on all the nuances, everything that is occurring. And they take people there that want to have that journey themselves, but they understand intimately the risks that are involved. They are there not to take the steps for them, but to help guide them on the steps which they are taking. But they're not going to be the one to pick up the foot and move it further in the snow, to walk up the mountain. But if you want to make that choice to go higher, to get to that peak, to get to that end point, to become a data champion, they're with you to support you in every part of that journey. So everybody that becomes a data champion, the second they go to share that aspect with others around them, they become the Sherpa. And now you've left a realm of service to self, and you become a realm of service to others. And through that, you are now helping others evolve. Others take that path of truth, finding themselves, self-empowerment, choice, self-responsibility. And that is something so rich and so valuable that all of us around the world, we really can't get enough of it. That's the thing that propels us forward as human beings.
So, you're speaking as a data champion, the user on the system, filling out data packets, whether they're taking it to feed their family and help support them, or whether they're giving it to, NGOs, not-for-profits all across the globe. Mm-hmm. And we get to be a part of that as an employee. What do you envision as the CEO? What do you envision a Sherpa employee looking like?
I envision employees that every time there's a great change in that work, that they are outside speaking about it in the streets, that they find joy in sharing what they're doing at Tartle, that those employees become Sherpas of human evolution, that they can go home and say, I have impacted 55,000 people today. I have impacted 2.7 million human beings today. This change that I did with a few keystrokes or whatever it might be helped someone's life for the better. Because when they have those stories, when they have that narrative, not only for themselves, but they share it with others, that's a power, that's a goodwill that can't be found anywhere else. And that's the type of employees that you want, ones that are respected in their creativity and what they're doing, and they can be the torchbearers for their own responsibility and good work. Tartle is just a platform. It's a foundation for us all to stand on. And how it evolves organically is the choice of everyone that chooses to interact with it.
100%. So if somebody wants to be that Sherpa,
mm-hmm.
if they want to help others become data champions, what's the best and easiest way to do that?
They can just email jobs@tartle.co. And guess what? Maybe it's jobs that we've posted for. Or maybe you think Tartle needs to have a specific job that doesn't exist.
Yeah, you were talking to me about off-air. Talk about this. It's really cool.
Yeah, I said, it's all well and good for us to tell the world what we need. But what about the world telling us what we need?
Yes.
Define for us. You tell us. You sell us on a position that you think needs to exist. We're all ears.
Well, people don't even realize, Tartle, like, for instance, you're just like, I don't really know tech. Do you know how to communicate with people well?
Yeah.
We need salespeople all across the globe.
Yeah, we do.
So maybe you are in India and you could go to a data center in India and have a conversation with them. That's valuable to us.
Yeah.
We would love to have you be part of the team.
100%. Oh, when you're on the team, it doesn't stop there.
No.
I've had employees come over to us and pitch us on new jobs that need to exist.
Yes.
I never thought about it. But that's the point. When creativity flows, things that you never even thought of will arise. And it's beautiful things that occur. But they're natural. They're so organic. It's so fluid with which it is happening. It's always the right time. And so I want you to look at Tartle and say, is it the right time for me? And I want you to email us at jobs@tartle.co.